Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wizard101 video. Today, I thought I would go over my top 5 favorite worlds in Wizard101 because everyone likes top 5 videos. You know, they're just a vibe time. And it's also pretty cool because I saw last time when I made my Mirage video, people leaving their rankings for their top 5 favorite worlds. So I figured I would do mine, and then you guys can leave yours in the comments as well. We can have some discussions and stuff there. I love that. But before we get into this, make sure to like and subscribe. Every once in a while, I'll say it at the beginning of the video instead of the end of the video just to see if it performs differently. So let's see. But let's get into the ranking. Number 5, and this one probably shouldn't be a surprise to you, is Mirage. I've said this before in literally a video a few days ago, but I absolutely adore Mirage. I think Mirage is a really fantastic world. It's my favorite number of quests for a world. So what I mean by this is that Mirage has about 140 quests, and this is my favorite length for a world. I don't think it's too long, like Chrysalis at 270. I don't think it's too short, like, say, Krokotopia at 30. It's just in this perfect sweet spot where it's not too many quests, it doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's really good. I think Mirage has one of my favorite stories in the entire game, and it's definitely my favorite characters in the entire game. I think the only reason why it's number 5 and not, say, number 1 or number 2 is the fact that, A, I really don't like Ishtar. I think Ishtar is one of the worst characters in this game, and she's really annoying. 2, the atmosphere isn't as memorable and as dear to my heart as the other top 5. Number 4, and I actually struggled where to put this one, but I decided ultimately at number 4, based on what I've been thinking recently, is Mushu. Now, Mushu actually used to be my favorite world of all time. I love the atmosphere in Mushu more than anything. It's definitely my favorite world in regards to that, but I have come around to seeing the perspective that a lot of people have, where it definitely is a bit lackluster in some cases. There's a lot of walking, not too many actual fights, and it can get a little bit repetitive at times. But I still absolutely love this world. Nothing that anyone could say could convince me that Mushu doesn't belong in the top 5. I think Mushu is an amazing world, both pacing-wise, story-wise, and atmosphere. I think that it is really fantastic, and I love it more than many other worlds. Mushu, to put it in perspective, is one of the only worlds I can actually do every single side quest in without feeling a lot of pain. I've done a lot of side quests in every single world, and Mushu is the only one where I would actively do a side quest and be like, this was pretty fun. Mushu only isn't higher just because the next 3 worlds are, in my opinion, really fantastic, and I really love them. Number 3, and this one was definitely one I struggled to rank, was Marleybone. I couldn't decide if I liked it better than Mushu, less than Mushu, if I liked it better than what's in second and first, but ultimately, I decided Marleybone was 3rd. Also, I would like to say my top 3 are very close in ranking. Like, I love them all almost equally. I just decided that Marleybone was probably just a little bit lesser than the next 2. Marleybone is amazing. The atmosphere is so fantastic. I don't think KingsIsle has managed to capture an aspect of culture nearly as well as they've done Marleybone. Somehow they perfectly managed to make it seem like British high society and British in the Edwardian era in the 1910s or so, which is mostly what it's based off of. You could argue a bit more Victorian era, but it's definitely, in my opinion, in my eyes, the Edwardian era more than anything. Marleybone is just really good in regard to the atmosphere, and I absolutely adore it. Also, Marleybone is nice because it really doesn't overstay its welcome. It's actually a shorter world. Sometimes I actually wish it was a longer world. I wish that they added like an extra 30-40 quests to it, because it is definitely really short, but it's a world that really doesn't overstay its welcome. And every time I do it, I absolutely love it and wish that I could come back to it. And I know some people don't like it. They don't like the rooftops. Really, I think it's just down to preference, and I absolutely love it. I love that they managed to capture the British really well, whereas they're spreading across the entire spiral almost like a plague, and taking back artifacts to their museum, which is exactly what the British did in real life. I absolutely loved that fact, and that is why Marleybone's number 3. Number 2 on my list, and this was the biggest toss-up, I couldn't decide which was first and which was second, is Avalon. Now, this and number 1 switch back and forth between my favorite world all the time. I've said both are my favorite world, and honestly, they're pretty much equal. Avalon is really, really good. Obviously, since I was a kid, and I think this is a very, I don't know if this is just like a kid thing or if it's just an American thing, but as a kid, I always loved the sound of knights, lords, medieval times, jousting. It's just always so cool. And Avalon manages to capture this in a really, really good way. Another thing that comes into play here is, like, I love Game of Thrones. I think that this has a very Game of Thrones-esque atmosphere, such as dethroning kings, different plots and manipulations that have happened over time, and I absolutely adore this world. I think my only issue with it, and the issue I've always taken with it, is the fact that the Sword of Kings is really weak. If the Sword of Kings was a powerful weapon, this world would, like, be number one, hands down, 100% of the time, because I just feel like it detracts from the story a lot, because the Sword of Kings is supposed to be this godlike weapon that you use against Morganth, which you really, really don't. But I would like to say, I think King Artorias' story and you saving Avalon was one of the most climactic and best stories in the game. Every single street is really, really good. The only one I don't really like is Dundara, and that's just kind of because it's like a dark, dreary aesthetic that I think is just kind of gross looking. I don't like it as much. Avalon is a firm number 2 for me. I absolutely love Avalon, and I wish that they would either revisit it in a future world or would do something similar and make a more knightly aesthetic world. Number 1, and this probably shouldn't come as a surprise to most people, is Polaris. Polaris is an amazing world. I don't know how KingsIsle managed to make such a fantastic world packed with so many cool things. Polaris has everything. A fantastic story, a fantastic soundtrack, fantastic aesthetic. The pacing is amazing. There's just the right amount of quests. They managed to make the game feel challenging while also not making it feel too challenging. They managed to rebalance things so that it worked perfectly. And honestly, I think that Polaris is just the best world. To me, it feels like the most balanced world, the most exciting world to quest through. And I think it's especially made clear just because of the fact that you come out of Chrysalis and you go to Polaris, and Polaris is just so much more amazing by extension. Here we're also exposed to the Arcanum, which was such a cool plot point. I'm so glad that we got to see it. It's kind of like the college of Wizard101 because we just graduated from Ravenwood. And I think really it's all really cool. Grandfather Spider is one of my favorite villains of all time, and I absolutely love the fact that he released his children on the world, and we had the Rat here, which was an amazing villain based on Rasputin. I could talk about it for hours, just how much I think it is an amazing world, and they did a fantastic job of it. I really hope that they make a world of a similar vibe to Polaris in the future. I think it would be really, really cool and would work really, really well. But that's really it for my top 5. Again, just to recap, it went Mirage, Mushu, Marleybone, Avalon, and then Polaris. I think that my top 5, the only real one that would be a controversial opinion would probably be Mirage and maybe Mushu. But otherwise, I think Marleybone, Avalon, and Polaris are all pretty liked worlds overall. Again, let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know what your top 5 is in the comments. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Make sure to drop a like at the sub button. Go support me financially on Patreon if you feel so inclined, and join my Discord server. It's a really, really cool place there, and you can send me video ideas and stuff like that. So, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Adios.